What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we're here for the My Team Journey, episode number 17 for the Mexican Grand Prix. And today, guys, is a historic episode because today we're going to spend those resource points we've been saving up for the longest time. I'm hopeful that we can spend 10,000 resource points in this episode. And I know you're saying, Ben, we don't have 10,000 resource points. Well, I'm going to get some more from the practice programs and then spend that too. We're right at the cutoff point of being able to get on some of these major upgrades on. We're doing the quality control for the engine to lower that failure chance down to 30%. Now that we've got that in the pipeline, it should be 30% by the time we do pile the upgrade on. It's an 80% discount on a major engine power upgrade, and that is going on the day before Friday practice for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Unfortunately, department capacity has stopped us from doing anything else there. Weight reduction, that's a 30% failure chance, 1,000 resource points. Whacking on. That also goes on one day before the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Oh, and department capacity for that. What about aero? I know we can do more stuff for the aero. Front downforce, potentially. I'm looking at what gives us the biggest discounts. Rear downforce is a big one, nearly 40% there. And also drag reduction is over 40%. And those are going in time for the next race after this one. So that's very exciting. Right. That's all we can do. I'm so sorry, guys. I thought we were going to get a big 10k spending spree in this episode. Turns out we've all been clickbaited. I've been clickbaited by the game. It's just a bottleneck. And I suppose it's a good thing to we'll start making moves on upgrades now, because if we are getting bottlenecked now, we'll only get bottlenecked later. So that's the next thing. We're going to do fabrication upgrades to the facilities, and that'll mean we can do multiple upgrades per department for the rest of this season. So that's going to be the next focus. We can now upgrade things now that we know that the regulation change affects durability. I didn't do any durability upgrades because we'd only have to adapt those for next season, so there's no point spending anything there. We have a wet qualifying session on the way for this race. But, yeah, we're making some moves finally in the development race, and we're going to hopefully make some inroads on Aston Martin just to keep them behind us. They're currently 4 points behind us in the Constructors, and we need to stem that flow. We need to finish ahead of them for the extra cash. Alright, so here we are for qualifying for the Mexican Grand Prix. I'm very excited for what's to come in this season of career mode. Good thing I checked my engine status, because it turns out, even though I changed a turbo component to a newer one, it didn't swap over. And even more weird, is that component that was left on that was worn was over 93%. So the game should not have let me go to the next session with basically dead turbo. That's a bit questionable. We have had a few dead turbos this season. Let's hopefully not have another, shall we? Down to one working turbo for the last few races. Remains to be seen whether we need to take another engine penalty. We'll have to wait and see. But early doors, we're on intermediate tyres. Everyone else has set their time on wet tyres, and this next lap will be much quicker as the track is just getting faster and faster, and I'll get more adapted to the circuit and the car's grip and everything else. So you can see the proof in that. 1.8 seconds up as we come out of the last corner and up to the line. It puts us inside the top 10, 8th place to be specific, but everyone else is now getting out on circuit now that they realize the Inter is the way to go. And we go on...
Fantastic! That was the fastest lap. Well done.
We go and stick it on pole position, albeit provisionally, in this Q1 session. We have the pace, it seems, on a much faster track, on faster tyres. Let's see what everyone else can do in these last 2 minutes. Everyone is gearing up to start their one and only lap on intermediate tires. So if there's any mistakes from these guys, we can definitely capitalize because we're making the most of the track at its best condition at the end of the session here. Another improvement by another 0.6. Just being out there lap after lap is enough to improve dramatically. We're on provisional pole position by I don't know how much at this point. It's probably at least a second to the nearest car. Kevin Magnussen looking to shape a move past us as we head into turn one. We're going to stay on board for the entirety of this last lap here. Didn't mount the curbs there as much as I probably should have, but I want to play it safe and make sure I actually get the lap in. It would be a disaster if we got done for corner cutting and invalidated the lap. Just by staying alive here and hitting apexes decently, we're going to pick up another half a second, maybe close to a second on this last lap. The track is continually improving, which is a very satisfying thing to be a part of, to be out there at the end of the session, knowing that you're in the worst car and this is the best conditions for us to flourish, for us to really cause an upset in this season of career mode. My teammate in P1, it is a 1-2. It was a 1-2 for Marduk Motorsport. We should have red flagged the session there, to be honest. 6 seconds to go. People are crossing the line to finish their qualifying sessions, and we are getting pushed further and further down the order. Sergio Perez with a 24-1. George Russell goes to the top with a 24-0. We're improving by nearly a second here. This is going to put us in the mid-25s. That's not going to be challenging pole position, but will it be enough to get us out of Q1? No is the answer. P21. That was a really long pause, by the way. Thank you, game, for leaving me in such anticipation for what was absolute rubbish. P21. After all that, we were in provisional pole position. We were setting personal bests all over the place. But we miss out on a Q2 appearance. It is a last row start on the grid for Marduk Motorsport. Yeah, everyone just got their times in at the end. I made sure I was out there on intermediate tires, setting lap after lap. Even if I did the same strategy as the AI, had very fresh inters and less fuel, I would have only gone a couple of tenths faster, to be honest. It didn't really cost us that much. And if anything, the extra laps allowed me to really get my eye in, and maybe I would have been slower if I just did 1 or 2 laps at the end there. But regardless, it is what it is. We have to be realistic with where our car is sitting right now, and we are comfortably the slowest car in F1. To be only a tenth or two away from the next slowest car is actually a win in my books. Time for the Mexican Grand Prix.
Welcome to Mexico City, the most popular city in North America, and home, of course, to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shortest circuits on the Formula One calendar. And who, I wonder, will they be cheering on the top step of today's podium? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, Lando Norris, and Bottas, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, Joe, and Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Perez, Albon, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Tsunoda, Leclerc, Magnussen, Benjamin, and Oscar Piastri. Vettel, Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty. Fernando Alonso, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close.
So as we come to expect at this point of the season, particularly season 1, we have some grid penalties affecting the order. This is why I don't really want to take engine penalties at this point of the season. It can really vault us up the order. It's only a few places today, I think P17 and P18, respectively, for the two Marduk Motorsport drivers, but hey, it gets us a little bit closer towards the points and closer towards the guys we want to be racing, and that is the Aston Martins. I think no matter what happens from here on out, and this sounds a little bit toxic, I want to make sure that Aston Martin don't score points on us. So just getting in their way, trying to suppress them as much as possible. I don't know if we have the pace to really challenge them, but they are both behind us. Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Let's make their lives a living hell in this Grand Prix. Away we go for the third to last race of Season 1 for my team. And so straight away, the mission has failed because Sebastian Vettel is ahead of us in P19. Lance Stroll in P last. So let's try and keep him there up the inside of L Plan there at turn 1. He's trying to displace Sebastian Vettel as well. And I think by virtue of that, we're actually able to put him behind us. Vettel taking the outside line and ending up backing off from myself and Alonso. So that is awesome. Aston Martin in last place right now, and I'm absolutely loving life. Can we move up any further positions in this race? Piastri 3 wide with Latifi and Leclerc as they go through that very slow sequence of 90-degree right-handers. And Piastri's getting big for his boots, trying to go up the inside of the champion-elect, Charles Leclerc. He could potentially win the championship today if things go his way. As we got the inside of Latifi, just about keeping a wheel on the track there and able to make the move stick legally. So P17 and P18, once again, where we started. But boy, has it been a eventful first lap to get to the position that we're in. And the first lap's not even over yet. We've still got a couple of corners to go. Leclerc going around the outside of Kevin Magnussen here. Piastri looking for the switchback. He's obviously been watching the videos and doing his research, seeing what his teammate has been doing. Here comes Latifi around the outside on the start-finish straight. No DRS enabled, mind you. And here comes Lance Stroll from... no. By Vettel. Either way, he's in front of us, and so is Fernando Alonso. Albeit very briefly, we fight back and try and get Latifi back around the outside. And yes, we do keep the position, but Vettel is on the charge. He's trying to get my teammate. Piastri puts Magnussen in between himself and Sebastian Vettel. So Oscar Piastri here understands the assignment. He knows that we need to keep the Aston Martins at bay, and by overtaking Magnussen, that's another car that is just flung into their path. We run wide into the stadium section. Very lucky it's not getting a warning there, as we are running on strict corner cutting rules. Very easy to get done there, but I think we just understeered wide and lost time, hence why we didn't get the warning. Either way, Fernando Alonso breezes past us on the straight there with some DRS. This is now Lance Stroll, who's in P19. Sebastian Vettel opted to go for an early undercut, and I mean really early undercut from the mediums. Either he got damage, he didn't get it from us, or he literally is trying to get himself out of the traffic to try and do something different, which for Aston Martin, actually not a bad play given the attitude we're having towards this race. Fernando Alonso up the inside of Piastri into the last corner. Piastri, probably no real point in fighting this. Let's just let him go and pick up the DRS. Oh, no, he's actually going for the move. I think he's going up into overtake to try and get back past Alonso, but you can see the difference in straight line speed. Someone recently in the comments section, I think it was yesterday's video, said, why are we going for high downforce setups everywhere? Why are we so slow? And doesn't it make sense to go low downforce setup to make sure we're faster on straights? Yes, that is a good idea. But for this race, we actually are running low downforce. We're running 24, 25 front wing and then 21 on the rear. It's medium to low downforce, and we're still getting absolutely breezed past on the straights. The problem is we don't have drag reduction. I think drag reduction is the biggest difference between us and everyone else at the moment. Engine power as well will make a sizable difference, but you know, we can run 0-0 wings, I believe, in this race, and we'd still get absolutely obliterated on the straights. So we may as well set up the car for actually being fast lap time-wise, as good as we can. When we are in the DRS of other people, it's not too bad. Like, that will drag us along massively, and then we can still be faster in the or fast-ish in the corners. But we're just slow at the moment. That's just the problem. We just lack pace, and that we are addressing that over the coming episodes. So things are infinitely going to get better from here on out, I hope, and we will hopefully see some progress as soon as Brazil with some of those downforce upgrades coming in. So that's really exciting, actually. Anyway, 25 laps to go, and we're settling into a nice rhythm here with our teammate Piastri, he's dragging me along with DRS. We're pretty evenly matched. Maybe I've got a slight edge on him at the moment. But we're catching up to another group of cars, Magnussen and Stroll fighting side by side. Seems like maybe I'm a little bit better on my tyres than Piastri at this stage. But it really is close between the two of us. If I get ahead of Piastri, I think he's only going to re-overtake me. I think he's running a newer engine or slightly less downforce potentially. Even he seems a little bit faster than me in a straight line, which is interesting to note. But Lance Stroll having to fight my teammate off. They both got DRS. Magnussen does not. And we're not opting to use any battery here. We're just sitting in behind. We're waiting patiently for our turn. And here it comes, up the inside into the next right-hander. And that is us up into P17. So finally, it's taken 13 laps, but we've actually managed to move forward from our starting position. Until now, where we get back in the mud, courtesy of Magnussen. Thank you very much. Yellow flag on that next straight coming up after the chicane. And it is Lando Norris, who was retired from this Mexican Grand Prix. Will we see a safety car? I hope so, because we probably dive it in for hard compound tyres to get us to the end of the Grand Prix. And it's not an engine failure. That looks gearbox to me. There's absolutely no smoke coming out of that thing. So, yeah, unlucky to Lando and McLaren. They have been pretty fortuitous with the lack of failures lately, and now it's their turn. Anyway, lap 15, we are looking pretty racy here on Magnussen, who's a little bit slow behind my teammate. Piastri is catching up to Gasly, who has a car issue, so I imagine it's only going to be a few seconds before Gasly's car completely blows up with that engine. We'll have to wait and see. Here goes my teammate up the inside. Nope. Has to go back to the racing line into the stadium section. This slows up everyone and allows us to go round the outside of Kevin Magnussen into the stadium section, literally giving a couple of millimeters worth of tyre tread inside the bounds of the racetrack, and that is a legal overtake. I said legal, not illegal, legal. And that's how we did it. Absolutely millimeter stuff. To precision at its best. I should be some kind of surgeon or something. I should be, I don't know, I should play Operation. I was never good at that game, but maybe now I've got my steady hands. Being old. Right. Lap 16. Magnussen is next. He's re-overtaking us. So that super brave overtake comes to nothing because lack of straight line speed. So that is absolutely lovely. Gasly going slow, holds up Magnussen, and this time we're going to do the overtake round the outside, and this time really make it stick as we get it done in the middle sector. And we set up Magnussen as well. We might have the inside for the next left-hander. Magnussen a little slow out of that corner, and we get the job done. We're into P15 in this Mexican Grand Prix. So let's kick on now. Hopefully get back in the DRS of our teammate Piastri. That's what we need to keep the Haas and now Tauri behind. But even Piastri looking pretty speedy at this point of the race. He's got some free air now, and he's utilizing the battery to keep me out of his DRS. Piastri's got to think about himself. He wants to notch one up against the boss 3 races from the end. He hasn't managed to beat me in a one-to-one fight so far, or just any race so far where we've both finished. And this is Piastri's best chance, so he is absolutely going for it at this stage. You know, we might not be fighting for points, we might not be fighting for podiums or anything like that, but there is still a lot to play for in a back market car. You just have to find those little competitions that you want to win, and I still am highly motivated in races like this. Some people, it is the minority, who don't enjoy these races at the back, but to be honest, this is such a rarity. The F1 games are so easy. They hand everything to you for free almost, with the reliability failures, with the AI being rubbish at racing corner to corner. Sometimes it actually is nice to have a little bit of struggle, and I think the vast majority of you echo that as well. But our tough times will come to an end very, very soon, and we will be fighting the midfield. We will be fighting for points, bare minimum. I am promising we are going to be fighting for points from race 1 in Season 2. Maybe even a little bit more. It depends how wow, aggressive everyone is with the development over the winter. But Leclerc, speaking of aggressive, straight up the inside into the stadium section. We did break early to let him go, to be fair. And now he's just going to absolutely stretch away in this race. So, you'll notice we haven't stopped yet. It's lap 21 out of 36. We're just doing an extra few laps now just to go onto the soft compound tyres in the hopes that we can go for a faster lap. It'll look better on the rivalry. Maybe there'll be a late race safety car. So we're just going for it. I think I'm pretty safe that the Aston Martins aren't going to get points today. So I'm just trying something different, a split strategy from my teammate. And it might provide dividends if the Aston Martin and my teammate is actually very close on the minimap. If they are squabbling right now, then we might potentially be faster than them on all the tyres. So the overcut might work. The softs will be massively faster than the hards once we get them on in just a few moments' time. Ricciardo is in again. He made a very early stop in the race and unable to make the one-stop work, so he's in again. And coming out of the pit lane now, will we be able to race him on exit? No, that doesn't look like that is the case. So we're going to press on. 12 laps to go. Kevin Magnussen is out of the Grand Prix. And that is a safety car. So the safety car is deployed. And that comes at pretty much the perfect point in this race because we are ready for a set of soft compound tyres. The safety car has missed the leaders, so we can afford to go for another lap in this race before needing to go into the pit lane, just like we did in Kota. So, yeah, we'll have one lap fresher tyres than what we would have had if we stopped immediately, and I think that will be the difference. We still even get a bit of tyre wear. Whoa! That's Charles Leclerc, our potential championship winner by the end of today, nearly touching the safety car and getting himself disqualified from this race, maybe even the entire championship. But that was a close one. Safety car finally is going to let us all go and catch up to the race leaders. So we're coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Like I said, even at slow speed, safety car speeds, you can still get like 3-4% tire wear per lap. And on these tires with minimal tire wear upgrades, that makes a difference. So we are waiting until the very last minute to get on these soft compound tires. It means we give up, well, pretty much all the track position. But that's fine. We're going to claw it all back on tires that are going to be 2 seconds a lap faster than everyone else who is on the hard compound. So it's worth the risk. We have 10 laps, 9 laps to get this done, and we shouldn't have to worry too much about the old tire wear. So yeah, we took our time, or it took a long time to catch up to the train. Found out they're going again for another lap, so I thought, you know what? I'll come in again because I've got another set of spare soft compound tires waiting for me. We didn't use them in quali because we had a wet quali. So I've got soft compound tyres for days, and now the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. The FIA, their patience has run thin. They can't wait for me any longer, and they're going. But thankfully, we just catch up to the queue at the perfect time. Our tyres are warm. They're not worn. They've got 2% on them, and they're raring to go for the back end of this race. 8 laps to get through the field, overtake the Aston Martins, and maybe, just maybe, get a fringe point and make up for the last race in Kota, which was an absolute joke, by the way. Sergio Perez with no front wing. How has he managed to stay ahead of me? I'll never know. Anyway, Latifi coming back at me on the straight. I can have all the tyre grip in the world, but it doesn't mean anything for straight line performance as we re-overtake him around the outside at the first chicane. Thank you very much. Gasly, he's next and still has that car issue, so I imagine he'll be pretty easy to overtake here. He's going to be absolutely shot to bits with confidence as we're shaping up a move. It'll turn to the inside. The next right-hander, thank you very much. We give him the big fend, we give him the big don't argue as we go around the outside of guys like they're not even moving. I tell you what, the soft is absolutely ridiculous against these guys on their old hard compound tyres, of which these guys are probably struggling to get their tyre temps up to temperature. So they're a little bit slower than even normal, but we can just crack on at full pace straight off the bat. Now after a lap, everyone should be near enough to their full potential pace, and life is going to be a little bit more difficult from this point onwards. These tyres really do wear out quickly, so they're only going to be good for about 4 or 5 laps, and then the hard, I imagine, will probably be stronger than ours, depending on which car we're racing, in all honesty. But we should have a big advantage over our teammate here. Round the outside we go on the second DRS straight. Hopefully he doesn't make this too hard for us. He doesn't make it easy for us, so I'll say that much. Aston Martins are next, P15 and P14. I think this race is looking pretty solid, pretty safe for them not getting points today, which is what we absolutely love to see. In the DRS from next lap onwards, and that should hopefully make things a little bit easier for us in the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel as we run through the middle sector. And you can see just how close we can get with these new regulation cars. Little to no dirty air. Apparently, I've heard from esports drivers, there is more dirty air on this game than last game. They said the balance was wrong, and they've increased the dirty air, even though in real life there's less dirty air. But on the balance of things, it is supposed to be more balanced and more closer to real life. So that's really cool to see. Anyway, I can't get near the Aston Martins on the straight. We've pretty much depleted our battery down to 19%. We're using the DRS to stay close, but I have to make up the performance in the corners. I'm getting to a point where I think I need to go for some dive bombs, and here we go up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. That was a pre-planned move. He left the door open, and we absolutely sent it with full confidence of fresh soft compound tyres, absolutely out of nowhere. And Vettel just does the switchback. We have enough track position, I suppose, at the next right-hander to get the job done, but man, we really came out of nowhere to make that move. Vettel wasn't even flinching. He just turned in at his normal points. And I guess he was fully accepting his fate, I suppose. Maybe he didn't even see me, I don't know. But this move here, this angle is the scariest. We get so close on the way into the corner, and then finally he concedes at the right-hander, and P15 it is. 4 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix, and it's looking ever more difficult, the task of getting points. I don't think it's going to be possible. I'm already seeing my tyres drop off compared to these guys. I'm not making any more progress. I was stuck behind Vettel for at least a couple of laps there, and with each passing lap, each passing corner, my performance, my advantage is just fading in this race. So yeah, it looks like it's not going to be points today. This car is just too slow, and it doesn't help that Vettel is overtaking me on every start-finish straight into turn 1. The Aston Martins are now doing to me what Marduk Motorsport were doing to Vettel and Stroll at the start of the race. They're now bullying me and suppressing me from getting points. So I guess if there's anything to come out of this video, what goes around comes around, and we're getting the absolute karma back as we went for a savage lunge there into that left hand. It didn't work out, as you saw. And Stroll continues on his merry way. Vettel is closer than he's ever been since overtaking him, and I think he might genuinely get me here. But heading on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, I'm just hoping that the AI have rinsed their battery, and there might be opportunities for me on this last lap or so. But it doesn't look likely. We're giving Vettel a bit of a wave, a bit of a g'day as he soars past us into turn 1. Try and do the under and over on him as we have the inside of this next right-hander, and we retake P15. This is a nice battle. This is a really solid rivalry that we're having at the moment for P8 in the Constructors. I can't remember having a rivalry as strong as this for a very long time. Us and Aston Martin. It's absolute banter here at the back of the grid. But it's providing the goods. There's a lot of friendly competition going on out there. Maybe it's more than friendly competition. It has been some unfriendly moments. But, you know, you're playing for keeps in Formula 1. We're playing for millions here, which will set us up nicely for next season. Last lap of the Grand Prix, and last lap lunge to try and get ahead of both the Aston Martins. We have done so. Stroll leaves us the space right at the last second to avoid crashing. Yes, that was over the line, but I was literally willing to put my race on the line to try and get ahead of the Aston Martins, send them a message. That's we won't back down in this season. We're trying to assert our dominance over those guys. And speaking of dominance, it is just so from Max Verstappen. He takes the race victory here in the Mexican Grand Prix. But it's going to be Charles Leclerc who rounds the last corner, finishes who knows where, but he takes the championship.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Solid race today. We, I reckon, maximize the package we had today. We just need upgrades now. So let's bring them in.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. It's victory in Mexico then. Oh, what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today? Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So there we go, lads. That is the Mexican Grand Prix. Max Verstappen claims the victory. Despite not winning the championship, he looks in pretty good spirits. I suppose when the likes of Leclerc was ahead by, I don't know, something like 76 points, you come to accept that it's probably not going to be your year. But at least he gets the winner's spoils. Carlos Sainz on the podium after coming together with us today. We're nowhere near him, and look at that, he is absolutely flourishing. Charles Leclerc gets P7, started in P15. Tough old Grand Prix that to fight your way through, but I'm sure he doesn't care at all. He is now a Formula One world champion. How awesome would that be to see? To see Charles Leclerc win the championship this year, winning for Ferrari no less as well, delivering them their first World Drivers' Championship since Kimi Räikkönen winning their Constructors for the first time since maybe about the same time as well. I don't actually know, but what I do know, it has been a long time between drinks for Ferrari. Lovely stuff. For us, though, P13 in the standings. It's been pretty slow going ever since we stopped development, but it's all in an effort to focus on next season. Even if we did kick on with the development, I doubt whether we'd score many more points than what we've got. I doubt we'd be able to move further forward in the drivers or the constructors either. So, it has been a short-term loss for us, not scoring as many points, but it's setting us up nicely for Season 2, and I really think this is going to put us in a great position. So, thank you guys for your patience throughout this process, but it's been a really cool experience to sacrifice this year's car for next, and we'll see the benefits of that very, very soon. We just need to get those fabrication upgrades on, then we can really knuckle down and get multiple upgrades per department on for every single race. So that's going to take time. We need to save up a couple of million apiece for each department. We need to do one for the engine, and we need to do that for the chassis department as well. We're fine for aero, but we just need to cover those two departments. And before the end of the season, we need to save up for Oscar Piastri, because the way the game works, you need to save up all your money and buy him before you get your end of season budget, which is a shame, but that's the way it works. Let me know what we should prioritize. Should we just save up for Piastri and play it safe, or should we squeeze on one more facility upgrade? I'd like to know. We're approaching level 15 acclaim as well, so cash is coming in that little bit better now, but yeah, we don't want to lose our teammate at the same time. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And follow me on Twitch if you guys want to see some live stream content. Open lobbies, online races, the co-op career mode I'm doing with Alex Gillen. It's all going to be on there if you want to see it first before YouTube. Either way, thank you guys so much for the support. Final 2 races of the season will be coming very soon. But until then, it's goodbye.